This conference will now be recorded.
Let's start. So in our yesterday's class, we're understanding importance of framework application and then importance of implementation application. You take any organization. So every organization will be having n number of internal applications. Maybe this has like credit card application, this has like accounts application, maybe loans, whatever it is. N number of internal applications. So when you as a developer concentrating on one application, you should understand whether that will be used in some other applications or not. So you have to understand scope of the development work, what you are doing. If you feel anything like reusable, you are supposed to maintain in one common point, what we technically call it as library. So here organization will be maintained with at least one library. So even if your project is having only one implementation today, so maybe down the line 2 years or 3 years, every business will think of expanding only, right? So if they wanted to start one more implementation, by that time, if there is no framework, there might be some kind of rework. So that is the reason we are in a thought of going at least with one framework. Okay, and based on your project complexity, you might be having n number of frameworks also. If we just see our yesterday's example, there might be one main framework which might be having one banking as sub framework and maybe insurance as another framework. And under banking, you might be having three implementations. Maybe under insurance, you might be having something different. So when you are developing any one particular application, in that process, if you feel something reusable between these three, create in framework. If you feel something that should be used other than these three, you have to create in the main framework. So this is what we're understanding. So finally we concluded like framework is one application where we'll be maintaining all the reusable components, and all these to be called as implementation applications, right? So implementation application is something where we'll be maintaining its own specific components, its own. So if things are to be used only at this point, so create it here. So if you are creating it here and wanted to use it in the other sibling, it is not possible. That is the reason we are creating n number of frameworks depending upon your project complexity. Fine. So we're understanding this as a whole should be considered like an application structure. So application structure can be easily identified from your end also. So today you as a developer joined one company, and after that your manager will give you access for credit card application. He'll just simply ask you to design screen number one. That's it. So after you getting this screen, you should understand whether this is having any parent or not. Maybe if it is having any other parent or not. So if you are not understanding this cycle, so how do you go for reusability design? Not possible, right? So you have to understand that there will be application structure, and our applications might be somewhere connected to third party applications also. Okay, as I told yesterday, Citibank will be having some kind of PAN card and CIBIL score search functionality. So for that it has to get the data from RBI, right? So this is not actually our application, but our applications are being connected to third party. So this is also part of our structure. So we this call this like an organization structure. It's not like application structure. You have to understand difference between these two. So this is what we understood yesterday. So till here we completely discussed everything yesterday. So I'm just giving a quick recap of that. Fine. So with this knowledge, you as a developer, if you are given any one application access, and if we ask you to design, you should start. You should do according to that. In that process, if you are following perfect standards, if you are following best standards, then as I told you, so there will be a score which will be 100%. What is that score name? Anyone just unmute and tell me. So based on your project design, there must be a score calculated, right? What is that score name? Anyone?
Um,
What is that? Anyone remember that word? I told yesterday. It is compliance score.
Compliance score.
Yes, yes. It is compliance score. So for every design, whatever you do, score will be calculated. Score must be every time 100%. If it is other than 100%, then your manager can straight away call individual and he can ask you what is the task given for you, why are you not following best standards, that and this. Okay, fine. Maybe if I'm your manager today, so today you joining one company like CTS, and after that, initially for first few days you'll be on bench, then your manager will start hiring you into that project. So on the day one after I'm deploying you into my project, I can straight away give you one requirement and do the things. That's it. I'll just give you one requirement. So you should understand where to log in, how to log in, and what is the application you are currently logging into. Is it having any parent or not? So all these background things you have to understand, right? Okay, all these background things you have to understand. So for that, first let us understand how and where you have to log in and start your work. So this is like PEGA home page or PEGA login page. So you should be getting this login screen. After that only you can proceed further. Okay, so how are we getting this login screen? That we have to understand. So first of all, we are supposed to install PEGA. Okay, we have to install PEGA. And installing PEGA will be in two different ways. That is, in our personal edition, it will be in one way. After you joining company, so there your manager will give you one laptop, right? So there it will be in another way. So whatever the way we are currently learning now, if you are talking anything about this in your laptop, office laptop, or near to your manager, so it will be big mistake. Okay, so you have to understand that this process and that process is different. First, let me explain you how are we getting this login page. So I think by this time you people must be downloading that. Why? Because I have already shared you software download link and video also. Okay. Still, if you have not done, not a problem. Let me explain it. So to install PEGA in your personal laptop, and maybe this has like your office laptop. So in your personal laptop, there will be certain restrictions where it should be supported only in Windows laptop. Okay, if you are having any other operating system like Mac or iOS or Linux, whatever it is, it will not properly support. So make sure the laptop whatever you are using, it should be personal and it should be having Windows only, and Windows 10 or 11 will perfectly work out. If you are using any past versions of Windows 7 or 8, so there also it might work, but there will be database related things. So Windows 10 or 11 is strongly recommended. And along with that, your laptop should be having like minimum 8 GB RAM. Minimum 8 GB RAM. So just open your laptop and just check the RAM capacity. If it is like 4 GB or 6 GB, requesting you today itself go to the nearest laptop store and get it upgraded. So they'll just check whether you are having like expandable slot or not. Based on that, they'll upgrade it. Okay, minimum 8 GB is recommended. Okay, and along with this you'll be having your hard disk, right? In your laptop you'll have hard disk. So in hard disk minimum 20 GB empty space is required. Okay, this is RAM capacity, this is like empty space. Minimum 20 GB space is required. And again hard disk will be of two types generally, HDD and SSD. If your hard disk type is SSD, then it will be extra good. Maybe if it is like your regular HDD also not a problem, but SSD is mostly encouraged. Why I'm saying these points is if you are in a plan to go for new laptop, better you take care of all these things. Fine. And there should not be any antivirus in your laptop. There should not be any antivirus. You have to uninstall any antivirus, then you have to install PEGA, then you can reinstall your antivirus, not a problem. not a problem. Fine. So these are like basic specifications for your laptop. So once your laptop is ready, whatever the file I'm sending, I already sent you. So if you're not receiving that, or if you don't know where to find it, just again message us. Okay. So this file, whatever I'm sharing you, so that you have to download first, and then we are even sending you one video and document to follow step by step. So what is your step 1 you have to do in your laptop, step 2, step 3, step 4, each and every step you have to strictly follow. Okay, after you are done with everything, maybe if it is not installed properly, then again you have to cross check it from the beginning, which might like little time waste for you. That is the reason we are asking you to follow this document and video step by step on strict note. So in between, if you are having any doubt, please reach us. So generally people are reaching us by not following any of these things. Sometimes their RAM is still 4 GB. Sometimes they are having background antivirus also. So requesting you to first kindly follow these prerequisites and try. Then if you're having any issues, feel free to reach us, not a problem. And after you following this video and document and everything, so process might take around 30 minutes minimum. Okay, depending upon your laptop speed. So it will take around 30 minutes. So once this is done, in your browser, any of your default browser, maybe Chrome or Firefox, whatever it is, one URL will be automatically generated showing you this screen. That's it. Okay, in your personal laptop, you are supposed to run one server like this. So what is this black window, from where are we getting, everything will be clearly mentioned in that video. Step by step will be there, you need not worry. So this black window command prompt, what we are saying, this is nothing but server running up. So if your PEGA server is running up, then only you can see this particular URL or particular screen. If I simply copy this URL and if I'm sending you in WhatsApp, so if you are trying to hit it in your browser, will you get it? No, you will not get, because this URL works only within the server range. Okay, it works only in your server. You have to install. So server will be running up in your laptop. So then you can run in your laptop. This is what happened. Understood, right? Now maybe if I'm copying this URL, if I'm trying to open incognito mode of this browser, or maybe different browser like Opera, or maybe different browser like Safari or Firefox, whatever it is, this URL must work anywhere in my laptop, because my server is running at my laptop level only. So in your case, once your server is up, you can use this URL wherever you want. With this knowledge, you have to understand what is happening in your real time. Okay, this is the process what you have to follow in your personal laptop, and you will learn everything here. You install and you'll try to do the projects and assignments and requirements, everything. So after you are like familiar with every PEGA concept, you'll start attending interviews, and then on the day one, your manager, he has to give you one laptop. So after he giving you laptop, if you are checking about the RAM capacity, if you are checking about the space, if you are just checking about the Windows 10 or 11, or if you're talking anything about antivirus, or what version of PEGA I have to install, if you talk anything about like installation process, then straight away he will ask you whether you are really experienced or not. Okay, so installation process will be there only at your personal laptops. It will not be applicable at your enterprise edition. Okay, office laptops, whatever we install there, we call it like enterprise edition. Enterprise edition will not be applicable for installation. Then what to do, what to do and how to do there. So what happens is, whatever the whatever the laptop you get on day one. Okay, so there your manager will give you straight away this URL. Will send you this URL in an email. So this URL, for him it will work, for you it will work, maybe for another person who is in Japan, he will work. So everyone within your project, it will be working. Okay, it will be working. Why? Because the URL what I'm generating in my personal laptop, it works for each and every browser request, right? Browser request. Similarly, whatever the URL your manager is giving you, it works out in every of that server range. Server range meaning day one, if your client is Bank of America, you'll get license from PEGA team. And after they getting this PEGA purchased, they have to install, no doubt, they have to install PEGA. So installation will be done by network team, not like in developers like us. Installation persons, they will be installing, and they will take care of each and every prerequisites for that. And then once the server is running up, one URL has to be generated, right? This URL will be applicable everywhere within that server range. Within that server range. Server range in the sense, so maybe I'm a developer from India. You are a developer from Japan. So we all are working for the same client. You might be my on-site manager, maybe at Japan. So another testing team might be in New York. Okay, we all are like same team, right? So whatever the URL my network team is generating, so it will be shared to my manager. My manager can happily access it and he can do his work. And then after I logging into company, my manager will give me laptop, and then my manager has to tell me how to connect this laptop to my client network using VPN or maybe Cisco or Ping ID, whatever it is. Using client, you have to connect your laptop to the client network. So you will be coming under that server range, and the URL whatever your manager is giving you now for PEGA, so that if you hit in any browser, automatically you'll get this page. Getting my point? So in your enterprise edition or in your office related things, you should not talk anything about installation. You have to just talk to your manager how to connect it to this client network. Why? Because company to company process might be changed. So after he is explaining about client related things, network related things, then you have to ask your manager, can you please give me development URL? So this is what you have to ask your manager. So can you please provide the development URL? So he'll send you this. So everything will be same. Here it might be showing like city development or Bank of America development, whatever it is. Rest everything, PR web, PR servlet, everything will be same. So this URL is common for every one of us. If we are like wanting every one of us. Maybe if you are trying to share this URL outside your network, maybe to your family members who is not part of your team. So for them in their laptop it will not work out because your laptop only connected to that server range. So this is first thing what you have to do. So far everyone clear, right? So far everyone clear? Everyone following, right? Any doubts, anyone? Okay, so you people are replying in, go to chat window. That's fine. Hope everyone is clear. Rest. Okay, fine. After you getting this login page, you are supposed to log in. You are supposed to log in. And this URL, whatever you are seeing now, so this will be generally common. Okay, this will be generally common. So generally, this is my PEGA login page. So I, as a developer, first have to log in with my ID and password, and then I have to do some drag and dropping related things, meaning some development work. After the testing team has to test it, right? Consider if I'm a tester. If you are a developer, you got URL, you logged in, you developed something, and maybe I'm from different company. If you're TCS, I might be HCL. So I have to test it, right? Meaning I also should log in and do. I also should log in and test it. So even for me also I'll get the same login page. Even for me also I'll get the same login page. So I'll test it. Once my testing is also done, maybe the next phase might be user acceptance tests, what we understood like UAT. So UAT meaning the real users, they have to come and they have to test it, right? Meaning they also should log in, no? They also should log in. So finally, the login page, whatever you are seeing, it is common for everyone whoever is logging in. So generally, who all will be logging into this PEGA applications? Tell me. So generally, what type of people logs into this one? Okay, so tell me, just anyone unmute and tell me what type of people logs in. So we know developers has to log in and do development work. Testing team has to log in and do testing work. And next, tell me what type of people generally logs in here.
Lead and manager.
Client from
Clients
client
meaning,
side.
okay, clients meaning the real users. Okay, if I'm a bank owner, okay, I'm the client, right? I don't know anything about PEGA. Okay, but I have to log in and I have to check how the things are going on. Meaning clients will be logging in. So clients we technically call it like, or here users is what we call. Okay, the real bank employees. Okay, real bank employees. They have to log in. Okay, Inka, who else will log in generally? Who else will log in generally? Just
Lead
try
and
to compare.
manager to monitor.
What is it?
Lead or manager to monitor.
Manager. So manager meaning, is it like your manager or like branch manager? You joined like one company as a developer, you will be having project manager. No? And even normal bank users, they will be having one manager. So branch managers, regional manager, divisional manager, those kind of managers, even for them they don't know anything about PEGA. They are like real users. Okay, so you are saying like managers. So consider real managers and maybe consider like your project managers. Next, tell me. Next, tell me who else will
Um,
log in.
Maybe the business analyst and
Great. Yes,
project owner
business.
and scrum master.
Yes, yeah. So business analysts they have to log in, and even Scrum Master also part of BA only. Okay. And next,
Any point of contact between the your vendor or maybe client.
which one? Sorry, please be little
Any
louder.
point of contact. Any point of contact between these two entities. Maybe
Okay. Point of
uh,
contact.
CTO.
Okay. So let me tell you. So what happens is what happens is on day one on day one, your client he has to get license from PEGA team, and development work should start, right? So you as a developer, whenever you logging in, okay, you logging in, it has to take you to some application and you have to do some development work there. So by that time applications must be created, right? Else what you'll do without application? So what happens is business analyst is the first person to log in into PEGA, and they will create some applications. They will decide how many frameworks it should be. They will decide how many implementations it should be. Okay, and implementations should be connected to what framework. This application structure your BA will decide. Suppose if I'm the client owner here, okay, I'll ask my business analyst like I want 4 applications for loans, sorry, banking, maybe 3 applications for insurance. This is the basic information what I'll share with my business analyst. Business analyst they have to think how many implementations, how many frameworks in future, how many extra frameworks might be. So they are supposed to design application structure. So meaning you as a developer, mostly you will not get a chance to create any application. So you are supposed to develop applications, you are not supposed to create the applications generally. So meaning business analysts they'll first log in and they will try to do some things, whatever application creation or whatever it is. After business analyst is done with his tasks, next your developers, okay, you developers has to log in and has to do some development work, right? If you are a team member you will logging in, and uh, if I'm your manager, okay, I also should log in, right? I also should log in. Okay, consider development is done. Next what will happen? Maybe next testing will happen, right? So testers will log in and they have to test it, no doubt. So they have to test it. Once testing is also done, maybe it has to go to the next screen or next phase like user acceptance, meaning the real users has to log in, right? Real users has to log in. Okay, and after UAT phase is done, next it will go to production. So in between, from development to testing, testing to the next phase, next phase to next phase, if something code movement is happening, it is because of deployment only, right? That is what we understood. It is because of deployment. So deployment generally, your PEGA admins, they have to do, they will log in and they will do some kind of deployment from one phase to another phase. Admins also will logging in. Consider it is like final reach to the production. So in production, the real users, they will log in and their managers. Okay, their managers, meaning real managers. Okay, why? Because these users, they can able to just register and credit card request. Real managers, they might check for extra approval or rejection related things also, right? So these portals and these screens will be different. So generally these type of people logs into any PEG application, no doubt. Fine. Now let's again sort all these things. So consider if you as a developer logging into PEGA, so that is meant for some development, right? Meaning you will be getting something called Dev Studio. This is what you have to know. Okay, getting my point? So if any developer logging with the same screen, as we told you, this screen is common for every one of us. For administrator, it will be the same login screen. For the real bank employee, real managers, maybe real users or tester or developer, whoever it might be, login page will be common. Okay, so now if a developer is logging in, it has to show like next screen as development studio, dev studio, also called designer studio. Okay, also called designer studio. And consider business analyst. Business analyst, if they are logging in, what is their main purpose of logging in generally? So we understood with one example, like business analyst, they have to do some kind of application creations, framework and implementations. They have to link according to that, right? This also comes under little development only, but you will not do as a developer. So your business analyst, they will be doing some kind of development work only, meaning even if they are logging in, still they also should get dev studio. Am I correct? So they also should get development studio, no doubt. Fine. And consider your project manager. So he's manager for you. That's it. So when he logs in or when you are logging in, both are kind of developers only. No, maybe he's some like high level developer, you are like low level developer. So still he also gets dev studio only. Am I correct? He also should get dev studio only. Okay, fine. And testers meaning, so generally, if I'm a tester in any company, I might not know the technology. I might not know what PEGA is. I might not know anything about that. Whatever you develop, blindly I have to test it. Blindly I have to test it, meaning, so how the real users daily work on it, I have to log in and I have to test it according to that. So meaning I should be logged in like a real bank employee and test it, right? Okay, I should be logging like a real bank employee and test it. And after that, I have to log in like a real branch manager and check whether approval rejection things are working perfect or not. Meaning tester is nothing but kind of user only. Tester, whenever he is logging in, he has to get output screen which is to be called as user portal. Even real users also will get the same user portal only. Okay, user portal only. Fine. And coming to the administrators, we are understanding admin is also one role using which they have to log in and they have to do some kind of deployment and other such things. So how many listeners they got, or how many requests, or how many invocations, however the deployment. So these things they'll concentrate. So admin, whenever he is logging in, he will be getting some kind of admin studio. Okay, they have to get some kind of admin studio. And the real managers, so real users and real managers both are different, but you as a developer and your project manager, one against another, there might be hierarchy, but both will be getting dev studio only, right? And here user portal, users and the real managers, so they they should be getting different screens. So here they will be getting only user portal, and you'll be having something like manager portal. Okay, manager portal. If anyone is getting like manager portal, he should be considered like a real branch manager, real bank employees, or real hospital people, or the real managers. This is what you have to consider. Okay, so finally you can understand that these three persons, so that these three type of roles will be having same output. Am I correct? So that is the reason these three type things are called author role. Okay, from PEGA perspective, we are supposed to call them as authors. Okay, so author is a developer. Okay, one business analyst is also an author. Maybe one manager is also, project manager is also an author. So anyone whoever is getting dev studio, they are to be considered like an author role. Okay, fine. And anyone who is getting like user portal, they are to be considered like an users, authors, users. And these are to be considered like an administrators, so these are to be considered like an managers. So total for PEGA application, so there will be 4 roles. Okay, so this will be your interview question. So what are the 4 roles applicable for any kind of PEG application? That is author role, users role, admin role, and manager role. So these 4 roles will be there. Getting my point? Everyone following right? Just tell me. Everyone clear so far? Everyone clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you should understand that there will be 4 roles. So that is author role, user, manager, and admin. Fine. Fine. Now, now, after you joining one company, your manager has to create one ID password for you. Am I correct? So no doubt he will give you one URL. Along with that you has to get this username and password also, right? So maybe if I'm your manager, I'll create username and password for you. So what must be the role I have to choose for you? Tell me. What must be the role I have to choose?
Author.
Okay.
Author role. Okay, it must be author role. Okay, fine. And remember, in entire PEGA, whoever is logging in, maybe developer can log in, or user can log in, or admin, or manager, whoever is logging into PEGA for anything, so they are to be considered like an operator. Okay, so don't call it like create an ID password for me. You have to say it like create operator ID. This is what you have to say. So each and every person whoever is logging in, they are to be considered like an operators. So we're having 4 operator roles: author, user, managers, and admins. Whatever, 4 author roles. Okay, now consider I am normal branch manager. Okay, I'm a manager where I don't know anything about pickup. So consider, in my bank, one new person joined as the clerk. Today he joined in my company as the clerk. So what we have to do? So I can straight away give the URL for him. Okay, I know I'll be having this URL, right? I can straight away give URL for him, and then I have to create operator ID and password for him, right? So operator ID and password can be done from development studio only. Okay, if you wanted to create anything, so if you wanted to design a section, or if you wanted to create an operator ID, everything comes like in development only. So if branch manager is logging in with his ID and password, he'll get manager portal, right? It's not kind of development studio. So he cannot do anything about like creating new operator ID. So what happens is, whatever the details of this person, you are supposed to drop an email to your production support team. Okay, you have to drop an email to your production support team. So for this production support team, maybe if I'm the developer here in the production support team, whatever the details you are sharing me, I will be logging in, I'll be getting dev studio. There I can create new operator ID, and here I have to choose user as the role for him. No doubt, right? I have to choose user as the role. Why? Because if he's logging in with his ID and password, he has to get user portal. It's not like manager portal or any other thing. He has to get only user portal. So this is what the things what we are following. Now manager, when he's giving him URL, so this is the first login page what he will be getting. Then he has to log in. So here he can see something like PEGA as the logo. What is this PEGA? So he's like a clerk joined in SBI bank. Okay, so he will be expecting everything like SBI logo, right? So why? What is PEGA? You know that PEGA is a tool where to develop things. You are a developer for that. So real users, they should not understand something about background, right? So how to customize this login page, that you have to understand. Okay, so if my requirement is to customize, my client is asking me that don't show anywhere about PEGA, don't show like blue background. So we are like using Citibank. So Citibank generally uses like white and red color everywhere. So let's change background colors. So let's change this logo, remove this and include SBI logo or whatever, and put this like username and password side by side instead of one below another. Okay, so you should understand as a developer how to customize this screen, but you should not modify anything about this button. Okay, you should not make modifications on this button. Modifications in the sense, you can change background color, maybe you can change focused style. On mouse or of this I can see something different, right? You can just change the styles, but whatever the click event we have on this, that should not be disturbed. Maybe if I click on this one, it has to check somewhere and it has to identify whether ID and password is correct or not. It has to again confirm that this ID is a developer or this person is a tester. So on click of this, there's something already in the background that is anyway predefined. I should not change that. So you can customize any of these screens, but you should not make modifications to that button. So now if this is my login page, if I'm entering something like ABC and password as 1234. So now tell me, if I'm entering something like dummy value, if I enter some password, if I click on login, do you expect any screen showing in the next level? Tell me. Do you expect Dev Studio or maybe user portal or manager portal or admin studio? No, right? You have to get only either of these four. Since I'm entering some dummy thing, do you expect anything showing in the next screen? Yes or no? Tell me. What do you expect here? Chapali, tell me. Following rate, everyone.
No, it will throw an error.
It should throw an error, correct? So this is basic thing what you have to respond, right? So it should no doubt throw an error. Why? Because this is something invalid ID. So maybe if I'm entering something valid one, it has to take me to the next screen, right? Meaning on click of this login button, it is deciding whether this ID and password is correct or not. No doubt in it. Okay, if I'm clicking on this search or login button, it is checking in the background and confirming this ID is correct or not. So if it is having some reference in the background, no doubt it must be database table only. Correct, right? So no doubt reference must be one database table. So whenever I click on this, it has to check whether ABC as one ID and 1234 is the correct password or not. Then only it will proceed further. It will proceed further, meaning next it might show Dev Studio, or it might show user portal or manager portal or any of these things, right? Again it should be deciding whether this person is a developer or not, tester or not, manager or not. So in database table itself you should be having the role, no doubt in it. If it is author role, so he will be taking you to Dev Studio. If it is like manager role, it will take us to manager portal according to that. So there should be one database table holding all the operator details. This is what you have to know. Okay, there will be one main database table holding all the operator details. If my project is having 10 developers, no doubt 10 operators only, no? So maybe two managers, no doubt two extra operators, right? Maybe 10 testers, So 10 extra operators. Maybe this must be used by 10 original bank employees, 10 more operator IDs. So this database table should be holding all the operator IDs list, all the operator data. In interviews, they'll straight away ask you, what is the database table holding all the operators list? This is what they'll ask you. Okay, what is the point of you remembering database table names? Not required, right? Generally, we understood system can generate its own SQL queries. We are understanding that, but still, you as a developer, you should understand what is happening in the background. What is the database table name, or how much time SQL query is taking care. Okay, and maybe if it is failed, where to debug. All these things, you as a developer should know everything, but you need not understand writing anywhere physically coding. Okay, so in interviews they will straight away ask you what is the database table holding all the operator IDs. So for this, let me tell you the table name. Table name will be PR underscore operators. This is the table name. So table name is PR underscore operators. Fine. So generally database is nothing but collection of tables, right? Okay, PEGA project will be having some database. So nothing but collection of n number of tables, out of which one such table we are understanding today is PR underscore other, sorry, operators. Likewise, you'll be having some hundreds of other tables also. So you should understand, out of those multiple tables, few tables starts with the prefix as PR. This is one best example. And few table names starts with PC as the prefix. Okay. And few table names starts with PR4 as the prefixes. Okay. PC underscore ABC, PR4 underscore XYZ, whatever it is. So tables generally starts with these three as the prefixes. Okay, so interviews, they might ask you, can you tell me any table which is having PR as the prefix? You should say this. Any table which is like PR4 as the prefix, maybe PC as the prefix, or what type of table starts with PR, what type of table starts with PC. Okay, and why operators table is only given with PR underscore, why it is not defined with PR4 or PC. These kind of questions you will get. So you slowly understand every of these things. So today you have to just understand that PR operators is one database table holding all the list of operator IDs. Fine. Now if I click on this login button, so if I click on this login button, PEGA, what is it doing is, it is trying to hit this database table and identifying whether this ID and password is correct or not. So based on that, it is again checking for the role, and the next it will take you to Dev Studio. Maybe if it is like user, it will take you to user portal. This is what we're understanding. Okay, so now on click of this login button, it is executing one SQL query automatically, right? So database tables, any kind of interaction with database tables, it might be pulling a record, it might be inserting a new record, or updating the record, or saving, whatever it is, any kind of database operations has to be involved with SQL queries only. Database will not accept anything other than SQL query. It will understand only SQL queries. Meaning on click of this, Java code should be generated, and it is generating one SQL query hitting this table. That is what we're understanding. And then it is checking whether this ID password correct or not, and then it is taken to the author portal or user portal. So consider I'm your project manager. Okay, consider I'm your manager, and I'm having four team members: team member 1, team member 2, maybe team member 3, maybe team member 4. Four team members, out of which I'm asking team member 1 to develop a credit card portal, team member 2 to be developing like loans portal, team member 3 is something about accounts portal, team member 4 something about like salary portal, whatever it is. I'm asking every developer to develop their different applications. Now tell me, all these three operators are like developers. Am I correct? All these three persons are developers, meaning all these three persons are authors. Okay, if first person is logging in, he has to get development studio where credit card application development should happen. Okay, for the next person, he has to get development studio for loans application. For the next person, he has to get development studio for account application. So no doubt next screen will be development studio only. If you drag and drop something, development happens. But for what application? Okay, so every operator ID will be given a role, author role. Along with that, he has to be linked with one application also. This is one basic thing what you have to understand. So for that, on click of this login button, system has to check whether id password correct or not. Then it has to check for the role. For what application? Credit card application. Maybe for the next operator it might be like an user for loans application. Next person might be like user for accounts application. Next person might be author for again credit card application, and again author for loans application. So whatever the ID password, it will check what is the role, and it will take you to credit card dev studio, and it will take you accounts user portal. So this is what you have to know. So everything reference is this table only, and the table name is PR underscore operators. So this is like completely existing design. You are not doing anything here. You are not doing anything here. Still, you have to understand what is happening in the background. Okay, you don't remember table name, you don't remember anything about column names also, you don't require understanding this background process generally to proceed. But you are supposed to learn all these things. Why? Because if I'm a normal branch manager, I don't know about PEGA, and if one clerk joining my company today, so we have to get one operator ID and password generated for him. So I'm sending this request to my production support team member, maybe that is you. So what you are doing, you are trying to create operator ID and password. You are marking his role as user. Okay, you are creating one operator ID, whatever the details you might give. So you are creating one operator ID. So this person has to log in, right? So with that ID and password, whatever you're sharing me back, so he has to log in. Okay, so consider whenever he is logging in, he's taken to development studio. Okay, consider when an user and when user is logging in with ID and password, if we are getting dev studio, what he has to do? So this person is meant for like an user, he has to get user portal only. Maybe some person gave wrong thing, so this has to be modified, this has to be changed. So again I'll mail you saying like this username is showing something different screen other than user portal. That is what we will mail you. Okay, so you are supposed to understand opening this database table, and you have to check for his operator ID what is the role given. So you should change the role from user to, or author from author to user. So without you knowing the table name, without you knowing what is the exact column for that, so without you knowing where to update, what you'll do here, you cannot do anything, right? So you should understand what is happening every time in the background. Okay, this is one uh, request what I'm sharing you. You have to fix it in this way. Consider another scenario. The next day I'm getting next day you are getting one email from me. Again, I'm a branch manager, so I'm mailing you one thing saying like, when my team member is logging in with his ID and password, so the next screen he can see user portal, but after 20 minutes of loading time. So maybe if I click on login, it has to take me to the next screen immediately. But if it is taking 10 minutes, 20 minutes of that longer time, which is not correct, right? ID password is same. ID password is correct. It is taken to the next screen correctly only. But performance issue is what we are having. Alright? But performance issue. So in this scenario, what you have to do, there is nothing to make modifications in the table. Database table is holding correct information only, no doubt. Okay, it is holding correct data only, but there is something like performance delay. What you are supposed to do here is, whenever you click on this button, you have to put some debugging on. Okay, we call tracer, performance analyzers, whatever. You have to put some debugging on. So there you have to check how much time this SQL query is taking time, how much time it is taking. Okay, and why it is taking long time. So is there any other extra things being executed? So if you find other things being executed, how to stop those? So these things you have to understand as a developer. So you don't require anywhere writing coding, you don't require anywhere like writing SQL queries, but you should understand for each and everything where is the problem, how to fix it or how to check it. These things you have to first understand, then you can proceed anywhere. Okay, so today we're understanding that every operator ID should be sorry, every person whoever is logging into Pega should be considered like an operator ID. So today we are just understanding about Pega installation in your personal laptop as well as in your office related things. And then we understood how the URL will be generated. And then we understood that we are supposed to call the person who is logging in as like operator ID. And we understood about roles. Okay, author role, admin role, manager role, whatever. So roles. Okay, and we are understanding something about backend database tables. Okay, and we are understanding that table name is like PR underscore operators, and we are even understanding that other table starts with the PR and few other table starts with PC and few other with PR4. Okay, so these things we are like basically understanding. Okay, so next we have to understand, next things are like we have to understand how to log in. Okay, so after installation is done, consider in the real-time scenarios, not like in our personal edition. After your manager, after your client installation, everything is done, who will be the first person to log in generally? We understood business analyst, right? Business analyst, they have to log in first and they have to create certain applications. That is what we are understanding. Am I correct? That is what we are understanding. So even for a business analyst to log in, it is asking for username password, right? Suppose if I'm the business analyst to join this company, I'm the first person to start this project. I have to log in. So even I should be having some ID and password to log in. It is still asking for that. Maybe if I could log in, I can create operator IDs for other people. I can create. But even for the first person to be logging in, it is asking for ID password. So for that, Pega team, they will give us one master login. So they will give us one master operator ID and password. Okay, so what are those? How to log in these things? That we will do it in the next class. Okay, so we have to understand how to install first of all, and then how to log in, and after that how to create applications, and then how to create operator IDs for different persons, how to start development work. Okay, how to concentrate on front end design, maybe back end design or integrations part, or a background batch processing part. Everything we have to know. Okay, so we'll continue remaining things in the next class, and each and every point is like very important. Even if you are working in Pega, okay, so you might be having 3 or 4 years experienced, and but still if you are joining here just to brush up other skills, so even for you these concepts, whatever the points we are discussing, will be interesting and it will be new only for you, no doubt in it, I guarantee that. Okay, so every point is like very important. Each and everyone should concentrate every minute. So to the most possible extent, I'm trying to make everything like more elaborative, so more interactive, okay, and more understandable for any kind of background people. So you need not learn anything about like Java or C language or HTML in this case. You just should know how to listen to the class, that's it. For that, you need not do anything extra. You pay complete attention, nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Maybe if you are missing any class, also not a problem since you are getting like immediate backup. So you are supposed to watch that recording in your convenient time, and the next day you have to call me for any kind of doubts. So that is what generally people follow, and that is what you also should do to get some output. Okay, this is what for today's class. Clear, right, every one of you? Any doubts, anyone? Clear, everyone?
Yes, it's clear.
Understandable, right? Okay. Okay then. So so demo classes are done. Okay, so whoever has decided by this time, so you have to you have to get enrolled for this program. Okay, so you have to reach me on the WhatsApp number. So you're having our WhatsApp number, right? You have to reach me on that. So we'll be just telling you about this enrollment process. Once your enrollment is done, so you'll be considered like a full length. Okay, full length person. So all the things like projects, maybe assignments, interview question and answers, whatever interview question and answers we discussed today. Okay, so those kind daily based interview question and answers. Okay, and mock tests, mock interviews, everything schedule will be straight away in one systematic way will be considered for you people. Okay, so requesting you to reply on that WhatsApp number saying like I am interested in continuing. Okay, so then you will be shared with all other things. Okay, whoever has already enrolled you can ignore, and remaining persons who are like joining now, they have to get enrolled, so to continue. Okay, so you can just message me onto this number. Clear, right, everyone? Okay, hope everyone is clear. And if you wanted to talk to me anything related to maybe any pega doubts or any career guidance or any kind of suggestions, whatever it is, so you can just reach to that number. We'll help you, not a problem. Okay, then good to close, right?
Sir, will
What is it?
hello.
Yeah,
Sir,
tell
will
me.
you cover testing also in this?
So testing in the sense we'll try to explain you some about test cases, but this is completely concentrated on development related things. So are you currently a tester? So we'll completely explain you
Yes,
about
sir. I'm
testing.
currently tester.
We'll be completely explaining about testing related complete related process, what business analyst they has to do. So how scrum related things, how agile related things happening, you as a developer what you have to do. So how it has to be deployed to the testing team, how the test cases should be written. Okay, testing team where they have to log in, where they have to test it. So these kind of overall things will anyway cover. Even deployment process as like an administrator, what will happen, all these things will cover, but this is concentrated more for development. That is what I'm saying. Okay, after this course many people, if they wanted to go like pega business analyst, they'll straight away go. They wanted to go like in pega uh, developer, or maybe pega tester, pega administrator, so they can go for all these things, not a problem. Understood?
Yes.
Understood, right, everyone clear? Okay then, thank you everyone. And tomorrow and day after tomorrow class will not be there. Okay, class again will be on Monday only. Okay, class again will be on Monday. Okay then, thank you everyone of you.